I read a lot and I enjoy reading a lot, but not all books are equal, so they are not equally good. So I don't end up reading everything till the end. And to be honest, life's too short for you to read a bad book. And until now, I have read hundreds of fictional and non-fictional books that have helped me not only change my life, but also entertained me when it comes to fictional books. So I thought I would make a video regarding the books that you should definitely read because they're definitely worth your time and they're really, really good books, great books. And by the way, this list is mostly non-fictional, but I also added a fictional book in it because that's my favorite book and I think everyone should have at least read it once. And no, I will not talk about Atomic Habits in this video. I know that I already made a video regarding Atomic Habits. It's already out. If you guys want, you can watch it. Atomic Habits is a must book, and if I hadn't had made that video, I would have added it in this one. But since there's already a video regarding that, I will not mention it in this video. This video is about the other books that I read in 2023 and that I recommend you guys read it as well. We are starting it off with a classic book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you are into reading and if you already look for books that you want to read, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, networking and all of that, you've probably heard of this book at least once. Now, let's get on with what I learned from this book and what lessons you can learn from this book. I think what a lot of people get wrong about this book is that it's about influencing people, so manipulation. It's not. The first lesson that I learned from this book is the power of listening. So basically, the author talks about how to be a good listener, that if you interact with people and if you communicate with them, you need to be a good listener. But good listening means to actively listen and not passively listen, because sometimes I kind of drift, and if somebody's talking for a long time, I drift in my mind and I think about something else. But that is exactly what you're not supposed to do when you're talking to someone. Listen actively, not, and make some agreement sounds if you agree with them. If you don't agree with them, just shake your head, all of that. So basically actively listening to someone, that will make you more friendlier. Another lesson that Carnegie emphasizes in his book is about appreciation, how you should show your appreciation to people and how you should appreciate them. Basically, he talks about how you need to make sure that people know that you appreciate them and that you're proud of them and that they're good in life. Because everybody loves compliments, and especially when it comes to their work. Like, I like compliments way more when it comes to my work and what I'm doing than how I look like, because I don't control the way that I look. So yeah, appreciate people, not only their looks, but also their personality, the way what they're doing, what they are giving to the world, and all of that. So give out compliments, and giving out compliments will make you more friends, and people love themselves, so people love people who give them compliments. It's natural. Another lesson that you can get from this book is basically goes hand in hand with the appreciation method. It's that to avoid criticism and don't criticize people. And instead of criticism, which is, for me, I think criticism is really, really important, because I want to hear the critics. I want to have feedback, because if I don't hear critics, if I don't hear what I'm doing wrong and how I can be better, then I cannot become better. But that's just me. Obviously, I would hate it if I heard for someone who is basically a stranger and I did not ask for it. And that's what Carnegie talks about. He talks about don't give criticism if it's not asked for. I don't think a stranger or somebody that you just got to know, that you just had your first conversation with, wants to hear your criticism or what's your feedback on something, because first of all, you don't know them that well. Second of all, why would you criticize someone you just met? So don't criticize people. And if you want to give someone feedback, do it with a positive approach, meaning that you should lead with a compliment. So tell them you're doing a really good job at this, but this and this and that would probably make it better. That's how you need to phrase it. So it's all about how you talk to people and all about how you avoid criticizing them and basically avoid them hating you, because people hate being criticized. It is what it is. I mean, I don't love being criticized either. The second book that you should definitely read, especially if you're a woman, I mean, it has nothing to do with being a woman. I just want all the women around the world to read this book. It's The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I mean, you need to understand money. You need to know how to get more of it, because everyone wants more money. It is what it is. But yeah, you need to understand it. And this book, let me not lie, I think I read it in 21 or 22, but like 2021 or 2022. But I still have my notes regarding this book. I always take notes when I read books because I just like to get back to them and then read my notes. That's how I learn from books. Let's take a look at the lessons that I learned from Psychology of Money. The first thing that I noticed about this book is that the book is not about how you get rich, it's about how you stay rich, and that there is a difference between getting rich and staying rich. So basically, House talks about how you can stay rich. I mean, when you get more money or when you make more money, on annual basis or even on monthly basis, your lifestyle basically grows as well. So let's just say you went from making 4K a month to 10K a month. You basically want to change everything in your life. You will have a more expensive lifestyle. So if like that 10K per month goes back to 4K per month, you're gonna have a really big problem. And a lot of people do struggle with going from like a really, let's just say, rich lifestyle to a poor lifestyle, which I mean, 4K a month is not that bad. And that is the biggest problem here with us, like getting rich with the society, because the minute you make more money, your lifestyle also grows, so you spend more money. And that is what Hauser talks about here, that you need to, no matter how rich you get, no matter how much money you get, you need to always focus on your lifestyle and just make sure that you don't spend as much. Obviously, you need to also spend because if you make money, you need to also enjoy it and be able to enjoy it, but don't enjoy it too much and basically to the point that you will get poor. Another lesson that I learned from Psychology of Money is the rule of luck, meaning that there are people who are just lucky when it comes to financials. A good example is the tech boom in 2010. So if you were in your 20s and 20 tech or late 20s and you were already into tech, I think you had a better luck to invest in stocks, invest in companies than people who are in their 20s right now. And since right now it's all about tech layoffs and all about AIs, you need to keep your eye on AI companies and basically invest in them because that's the next boom. It's the AI. So that's all about like financial luck and how some people are just lucky because of the time they were born in. I mean, especially if you were born back in the day when Google just came out. I mean, I wish I was born at that time and I wish I would have invested in it. Or when Bitcoin was like $1. I wish I was into like cryptocurrency back in the day and it had invested in it, but I wasn't. And that's like the luck that Hosa is talking about. Another lesson that I want to mention that I learned from this book is your behavior when it comes to investments. Meaning you cannot let your emotions guide your investment in the investments that you make. So for example, if you have invested into Bitcoin or into any cryptocurrency in the last few years, you saw how drastically they dropped. And one thing that you cannot do is let your emotion make the decisions for you. So if you think you lost on investment and if you bought Bitcoin and now it has lost a lot of worth, just don't let your emotions make the decisions for you and basically sell the things that you already bought, because you don't lose until you sell, right? So that's the mindset that you need to have. Also, when it comes to investments, it's a risky game. It's always going to be risky, especially nowadays when we live in a recession. So no matter what you invest in, the probability of losing is way, way higher than winning. But just understand that when you buy now, it's going to go higher in like 5 years. I just say that. So it's going to be higher in 5 years. So don't let your emotions decide your investments. Let your brain do that. Your brain can handle it way, way more than your heart. One book that I don't think anybody has talked about yet is Women Who Run with Wolves. I watch a lot of videos regarding books and regarding what you should read and what they learned from it. Because I'm a good consumer here on YouTube as well. I have never heard anyone talk about this one. There's also a male version of this, so Men Who Run with Wolves. And obviously I don't have that because I'm not a male, but Women Who Run with Wolves. And here are the things that I learned from this, and I think a lot of women can learn a lot from this book. The first lesson that I learned from this book is that you need to trust your intuition and basically your gut feeling. A lot of us women have a really, really strong gut feeling. So basically, you know something's up before it's even up. That's just intuition, and that's that comes naturally with being a woman. When I talk to my friends and colleagues, especially female colleagues, they all have that. We all have the intuition, the gut feeling, and that sense is really, really strong deep within us, that we know something's gonna go wrong, that we know that something's not right for us. So basically, we feel the risk before it's even there. We know that there is a risk. And that's what Estes basically talks about. She talks about that you need to listen to that intuition. You need to make sure that when that intuition hits, when that sense of risk hits, that something's gonna go wrong, then you need to lean into it and listen to it. Another lesson that I learned from Estes is the power of storytelling, meaning that when we hear like stories and myths about women, they tend to heal us from inside. So basically, when you hear like older stories from your grandparents or like from your grandma, you understand what your grandma has been through and what struggles she has been through. So you basically learn from it, and it can also heal your struggles. And it's a therapeutic storytelling, which is also the reason why I love listening to stories of other women. And I love hearing their life story and what they have been through and what trauma they had and how they overcome that trauma. And basically, I also try to give out my story and what I've been through. So the author basically talks about the power of storytelling and how it can heal you from within. Another thing that I learned from this book, and I think it's the biggest lesson that I learned from this book, it's the power of dark times. What does the power of dark times mean? The power of dark times basically means that you're going through a hard time in your life. And Estes talks about that process is completely natural. We all go through hard times in our lives. There's going to be times where you don't want to do anything or wake up, or it's just a hard time and you're grieving, something like that, just a hard time in your life. And she talks about that those hard times have the power to change you. They are the opportunity for you to change and for you to grow. And with change, I'm not meaning you should become more productive and all of that. With change, I mean become better, grow, and become stronger. And that's what she talks about. So yeah, she says that you need to approach your dark times with resilience and see them as opportunity for growth and transformation, which is completely correct. And I completely agree with her on that your dark times are going to make you. Your dark times or the reason why you are who you are. The last book that I want to talk about is a fictional book. It is my favorite book. And I don't think I've ever mentioned this book in any of my videos, not TikToks, not Instagram. But this is like my favorite book. I've read it quite a lot of times. It's The Kid Runner. I love Hosseini and the way he writes. I have all of his books that he has written or co-written. I read them all, but this one is by far my favorite. I think I read it first time when I was in like 10th grade. So it has been a long time. I've been reading this book for a long time now. The book is basically about two friends that lived in Afghanistan in 1975, and it basically goes through their life and how their lives evolve. I don't want to mention a lot of this book because I don't want to spoil it if you want to read it, but I do recommend you read this book. It's a great one. It's not something that is on Book Talk because I have read Book Talk books. I regret reading them. Because they were not written well. Like even the books from Colleen Hoover, I know a lot of people love them. Not for me. It's not written well. Let's be honest, it's not written well. I don't know how old Colleen Hoover is, but it feels like a 14-year-old writing Wattpad story. Unfortunately, that's how it feels like. I don't want to hate on anyone or any author, but that's how it feels like. I mean, the books are successful because they are written for 14-year-old girls and not for someone who's in their 20s. Yeah, so read this one, and this is way, way better. And I would also recommend you guys read the other books by Paul Hosseini. You will not learn a lot, but you will also understand a lot about your own life and be grateful for your own life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I could give you guys a few book recommendations, a few book ideas that you can read in 2024. If you guys have any recommendations for me, please let me know because I'm currently writing my 2024 book list. So basically the books that I want to read in 2024, which I do every single year because I want to have it beforehand and I want to buy them beforehand. So yeah, just let me know and I will check them out. See you guys next time.